not for the nine-tail plot hack, Haiku wins that fight. It's not even really close. He gets a little singed by one flame breath, but he overpowers them, even though he'd be a little exhausted. It's still a double dub over both of them. We know Sakura doesn't stand a chance in hell, so that's not even one to say about. Even
I totally think that's not fair, but that's okay. Well, no, you're right, but that's to say that Sakura should be around as strong as Naruto and Sasuke at this point in the series.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not a knock on Sakura, who is my third favorite character in the series. And I think it's unbiased hate for how she was written, but she's not a combat person at that point. She is a highly intelligent beginning that we've seen and extremely smart and understands tactics. She just physically isn't as capable as the other two.
I disagree with that. I think she's just as capable as Naruto and Sasuke at this point in the series.
Other than chakra control, no. Fighting wise, not even close.
I disagree.
Even Naruto would be a better fighter than her.
Well, I mean, obviously Sasuke's top of the class, Naruto's bottom of the class. This is the beginning of the series, so that's undisputed.
When you say as capable, are you saying on average or overall? Like on average or like in terms of raw power, I guess is what I'm asking.
Like overall, in terms of like just being effective as a ninja.
I'd say being effective as a ninja, yeah, by far, she balances out their team perfectly. But if we're talking grade-wise, Sasuke is the best fighter, does jutsu, is also extremely smart. Sakura is the smartest in their class, without fail.
Yeah, so
and Naruto, while he isn't smart, is also very physically capable. He's just, as we've seen, not very, let's say, he's very naturally gifted with things. He's not intelligent when it comes to book smarts or figuring things out. He figures things out by trial and error, but learns with wisdom. He's a wisdom-based character, not an intelligence-based character like Sakura. But fighting-wise, Naruto is not far from Sasuke. He can't beat Sasuke, but if Sasuke's at an 8, Naruto's at like a 5 or a 6, and Sakura's at about a 3 or a 4.
No, I disagree. You got to switch Naruto and Sakura there. Sakura's stronger than Naruto at the beginning of the series. She just is. And the bell test, if Naruto and Sakura... So here's the thing. If you put Sakura and Sasuke in a boxing ring and you take away all of their ninja tools and say hand-to-hand fighting, only taijutsu... Okay, yeah. Sasuke's going to activate his Sharingan and wash the floor with Sakura.
No Sharingan, head-to-hand, he beats her. He's a better fighter.
Sure.
As they've shown, up until Shippuden, as they've shown throughout the entire series, she wouldn't stand a chance physically against him. And Naruto, physically as a fighter, has been shown to be better than Sakura through the entirety of Naruto.
See, that's where I disagree. Now, I completely disagree. No, you do the bell test, and they're basically just a 1v1v1. Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura. They all have a bell on them, and Kakashi's just not there. They're in the middle of a forest. There's an open area in the middle, but the forest is like shady. They can maneuver, whatever. They can set up traps. They have their ninja tools. So Sakura has kunai and shuriken and smoke bombs and ropes. Naruto's falling in a trap, and Sasuke's getting smoke bombed, and Sakura's just as good as the others with all of her ninja capabilities. Whatever ninja tactics, she's just as capable as the other two. Naruto's at the bottom. Naruto gets his bell taken first by either Sasuke or Sakura. And then it's going to be
what I can tell
Sakura
you is that we're using the bell test as a catch, using the parameters that you set. Sakura could set up a trap that could work against Naruto. Sasuke is smart enough to be able to be on a similar level mentally to avoid the trap, and physically skilled enough to avoid a trap even if it is tripped and be able to counter.
I agree.
As far as kunai, there's no way in hell that Sakura's throwing a kunai that not only can Sasuke not counter, but then re-counter and bounce back at her more than likely and put her on the defensive immediately. And if they go to combat hand-to-hand with taijutsu, he overwhelms her. Now, saying that Sakura can outthink and trick Naruto, by all means, I don't doubt that at all. But if we're saying hand-to-hand taijutsu, they're fighting like the Chunin exam, he's beating the hell out of her in a head-to-head fight.
So obviously, Sakura never in a million years is going to throw a kunai at Sasuke. She was freaking out that Sasuke seemingly did that against Kakashi. So she's never going to do that. But like, I'm saying, take them, if you want to count whatever, quote unquote, out of character, whatever. You put Sakura against nameless ninja from another nation that are just as strong as Naruto and Sasuke, or Naruto and Sasuke transform into nameless ninja from another nation, so she doesn't realize it's them and she's fighting them. she does just as good. You can say it's filler or whatever. Look at her performance in the video games or the movie or the filler. She's just as capable as them. Like, again, the point is there's like the Konoha 11 or whatever, the rookie 9. Sakura's on that list. She's more capable than everyone. She's top 9, bare minimum, in the entire Genin Konoha. There's hundreds of Genin, if not thousands.
That's not saying that she's not a capable Chunin. What we're comparing her to is Sasuke and Naruto in terms of combat.
At the beginning of the series,
even if we take the Chunin exam, who in the Chunin exam does she stand a chance against other than Ino?
Again, that's not fair, first of all, but I think she stands a chance against a couple of people.
We're speaking about combat. Now, if we're saying overall as a ninja, yes, she's comparable to them still, because I think her strength doesn't lie in combat at that point, which is why she seeks out and trains under Tsunade, who teaches her to be a stronger combatant and makes it one of her strengths. But if we're talking about as far as head-to-head combatants, like in the Chunin exam, one-on-one, she loses to everybody in that actual fight other than Ino. And she
I disagree
because of her.
I disagree.
Everybody, but I think most of them.
Because again, you have to consider paper bombs.
To have that conversation.
Paper bombs are an asset that ninja utilize. Sakura utilizes paper bombs. She does do that.
That's true. But again, against who
I could
work
even
with,
see her potentially beating Keen, because she, even if you give her the genjutsu thing she had in the anime, Sakura is basically almost
immune to
impossible to
genjutsu.
keep under genjutsu.
She could beat
I would say
Zaku
that,
and
but-
anyone around Zaku's level.
Yeah, I was gonna say Zaku too, because Zaku's got 1 brain cell, and he doesn't even use the 1.
Okay, so we're saying that she could beat one person that she's basically immune to their one ability that they have at this level, and then the other person because he's dumb as a box of rocks. Which
she can't beat
even Naruto being dumb as a box of rocks, he's figured his way out of better fights.
I feel like if she leaned more into her Shikamaru side, she could probably, at highest difficulty, beat Choji, but it would be really difficult.
No, she could beat Choji for sure.
Because all she has to do is trick him while he's in human boulder state.
People underestimate Tenten. Tenten is like relative to Neji and Lee, in my opinion. So I don't think she could beat Tenten, which sounds bad to other people.
Tenten would wash Sakura at that point.
No, I agree. I think Tenten's
Tenten also
very
gets
capable.
a lot of shade because Tenten can instantly use any ninja weapon. For some reason, that was just never leaned into, as if she used the god weapons, which should be damn near impossible for anybody twice.
And again,
one thing I wanted to say when you guys were talking about Kabuto figuring out Tsunade's trick, I feel like that type of feat would have made more sense if I were writing Naruto to give to like Tenten, because then you could argue she's so cracked that even if she, depending on what she views as a weapon, she becomes really good at using that. So she viewed her body as a weapon and just refigured out everything in a split second. But like, I just wanted to say that because I think it's funny.
Yeah. I think that would be a good thing. I'd even give Sakura a feat comparable to that I think Sakura is smart enough that while she might not do it instantly like Kabuto, that she could, in a relatively short time, figure that out also and be capable yet again, especially in the Shippuden version. But even as a young Chunin, I would give her an intelligence feat like that that's possible for her, but I wouldn't give her in a head-to-head fight one-on-one with most people at that age. Her weakness, out of their balanced team, her weakness is that she is not as physically capable in a fight as the others. She has tactics. She's intelligent.
No.
But if you're telling me that she can't go blow for blow and beat Ino, who cannot fight on her team. That is her weakness, that she cannot physically fight. And she can't overpower her. She can only draw with her, which puts her at the same level combat-wise as Ino.
Okay, but you're underestimating Ino. Ino's part of the Ino Shikacho trio, like the most feared trio in all of Konoha.
But why is she feared? It's not for her combat capability.
Part of that trio.
It's because her ability lets her basically infiltrate other people's minds.
Let me put it this way. That trio is relative to one another. So Ino is relative to Choji, who you were hyping up a minute ago. Ino is relative to Shikamaru, who we see contend against Tamari.
And again, those are two different types of skill sets. With their skill set in direct combat, she can take over somebody's mind. She can't beat them head up in a fight. Shikamaru can outthink people, which is they've shown him as the most intelligent of all of everybody. He outthinks people routinely and does it throughout the entire show. No matter what the obstacle, he thinks up a countermeasure to it because that's who he is.
But okay.
They don't give that type of feat to Sakura, which would then give her an edge where I could say she could think her way out of these things. But I would give Shikamaru a better chance versus Sasuke and Naruto because of his ability and his ability to think out of situations. They don't give tactical combat thinking to Sakura like that.
But that's not fair because that's effectively nerfing, not Shoji, because he's dumb, he can just be strong, but that's effectively nerfing Ino and Shikamaru because you're saying they're strong because they have a certain thing that makes them strong. For Shikamaru, it'd be the shadow, or being able to, his intelligence, to be able to outsmart someone. For Ino, it's the mind transfer jutsu, and if she can't do that, then she's effectively nerfed because that's what makes her strong. I don't think that's fair because this super crazy OP thing that makes Ino strong, she got it off on Sakura, and Sakura was capable enough to break out of it.
Yeah, but that's two different things also there. One, Sakura, being as basic as she was, isn't tactically good at combat, and Ino works with Shikamaru. They work on tactics because they've done this, they're the 16th generation of them to do this. Tactics, even just by proximity, same way that Naruto learned tactics from Sasuke from just watching Sasuke fight, it's like, okay, that's a better way to go about it. Ino, as a thinker, I would give Ino the edge over Sakura in combat thinking because she thinks about the fight, while Sakura is just naturally smarter overall, knows things like jutsu, knows overall battle strategy, but in the middle of combat, Sakura is a strategist where Ino can be tactical, which he showed in the fight, which Sakura didn't have, and Sakura's natural ability to resist genjutsu that for some reason also worked against Ino, and her willpower was strong enough to push Ino out. Ino should have won that because that's something we've not seen anybody else do before or since.
They could have literally fixed that by just having mind transfer be a genjutsu. Or ningenjutsu or whatever. I don't know what you would call it.
Right. Having it be a genjutsu style attack would have easily made it that her natural ability to be resistant to that work, which is cool. She has amazing chakra control. To me, that's what I just consider it as just her amazing chakra control basically kicked Ino back out, and she didn't know how to deal with that because she has better chakra control, but we don't see her use that in any effective way other than stopping genjutsu. So it's not that she doesn't have tools, it's that she doesn't show a proficiency that would have her combat capable compared to other people that we've seen. And that's not even mentioning the actual combat capable people, like she's not handling Neji in any way, shape, form, or fashion. She's not handling Rock Lee in any way. I think she also loses to Tenten and gets overwhelmed from ninja tools because she doesn't have a strong defense against those. And she doesn't have any type of ninjutsu or genjutsu at that point to really defeat that. I think she loses to Shikamaru because he's just smarter than her, so she's better at the thing that she's supposed to be good at. I don't think that she beats Naruto and Sasuke for the same reason she doesn't beat Rock Lee or Neji.
Keep in mind that both Naruto and Sasuke are nerfed in the prelims at that point in time, so Sakura might just beat him.
I was going to say, I'm talking about academy level them. I think that's where she's the weakest and she has to grow from. Just like Naruto has to learn about jutsus and all that and how to control his chakra, and Sasuke, while being the best overall in the class at everything, still learns that there's levels to this. You being the best in your year doesn't mean you're the best ever.
You can say we got a bad showing. I think that Sasuke started a bit stronger than Sakura, just a bit, and he progressed at a very similar rate, but probably slightly more than Sakura. And Naruto didn't surpass Sakura until somewhere in the Chunin exams, if not after the Chunin exams. Because what matters is, again, what you're thinking more in terms of power scaling, how they would physically contend against one another, when a lot of battle power in the Naruto universe is up to how capable they are as a shinobi. Sakura is extremely capable. Again, we see it, you can say it's filler, but in the movies, in the video games, in the fillers, in the OVAs, etc., that's what it comes down to. And a lot of it has to come down to stopping power. That's why the Rasengan is such a strong jutsu. But you have to be able to land it. That's almost the expectation to be able to land it, and then you have to increase the potency of that thing to make it a stopping power jutsu. For Shikamaru, it doesn't matter how smart he is. He can be as smart as the smartest person in the world. he needs to land the Shout of Possession jutsu, but that's the first part. That's when the fight begins. Once he lands it, what can he do from there to win the fight? Because just that on its own doesn't do anything. Same for Ino. The expectation is for her to land the mind transfer jutsu. From there, what can she do with it? But the point is, Shikamaru and Ino, they do land their jutsu, they just don't have the stopping power. Sakura does with her abilities. You look at Naruto with the kunai. Getting Naruto fresh out of the academy is damaging, slicing through Zabuza's skin. You know, this Kage level opponent, high Jonin level opponent. Naruto's doing that with the kunai. He's cutting, making Zabuza bleed. Likewise, he beat Haku. That's with the Nine Tails, but whatever. So ignoring that. You also have in the Orochimaru versus Hiruzen fight. Hiruzen knows 1,000 jutsu, every jutsu in the village, and he's still opting for paper bombs. That tells you paper bombs have potency. They are actually blowing the limbs off of Hashirama and Tobirama if they land cleanly. Sakura has that. She has the stopping power in kunai, shuriken, and paper bombs, and then she has the ninja capabilities in smoke bombs or whatever other ninja equipment that standard ninja equipment are just on all ninja. And she can set up any type of trap. We see in the Forest of Death, she's very good at setting up traps. She's contending against the Sound Trio 1v3 through her traps. It's very effective. She in a 1v1, Sakura is pretty strong. Like, we cannot underestimate her strength. That's a ninja, which is what matters in Naruto. Thoughts? Because I don't think she's massively slower than Naruto or Sasuke. And I think another thing that matters here for capabilities is consistency. Naruto messes up. He makes a lot of mistakes. In a life or death scenario, one mistake and you're dead. Sakura doesn't really do that. You can argue it's around the same amount of Sasuke, but you can argue Sakura's the most consistent of all of Team 7. And she's beating even Sasuke in some regards, like the chakra control. She can walk up the tree, Sasuke can't. You know, the top of the class genius, prodigy, Uchiha, elite guy. Yeah, Sakura's beating him in some aspects, some areas. We just see a lot of mismatches to where Sakura's not doing anything. But she's just as fast and just as strong as Naruto and Sasuke. And then you have to look at intelligence or just skill, capability as a ninja. She can do the kunai training. She can land targets accurately. And she's smart as well. She can set up traps. So I do think she's just as capable as anyone else, basically. We just don't
so
see
we're
it
saying
much.
that. So what we're saying is that she's comparable. So we're saying in a straight fight to fight, hand to hand, we replace in the Ino Sakura fight with Naruto. Naruto draws with Ino just off them fighting. Say no chakra buffs, anything. Just straight taijutsu. They're even.
I think if Ino and Naruto were to fight, Ino would land mind transfer jutsu because Naruto wouldn't even need to be trapped by the hair. Ino would just land it, and Naruto would lose.
Hospital the rest of this part 1.
I was going to say, remember the downside to it is that it's a straight line attack, and she has to hit it. Otherwise, she's basically dead on her feet, unconscious for I forgot how long.
But Naruto's dumb.
She's screwed. Even if she hits it, she's screwed. She's just gonna get scared.
Right, she's gonna then deal with the nine tail inside of him.
Traumatized for the rest of part.
That's assuming the Nine Tails is gonna actually do anything. I don't think the Nine Tails would in this instance.
Well, we have to think about it like this. Just from the chakra inside, it's Naruto that's suppressing it with his chakra. If she's inside of there, same way that Sakura's inner monologue jumped out, why would Kurama, as we know of Kurama, not take the moment to terrify the hell out of Ino? We don't pretend like Kurama isn't a petty person who laughs all the time when he can.
Kurama doesn't want Naruto to win.
Does he get a chance to terrify somebody?
No, this is completely unreasonable. First of all, I don't know if Kurama would be even awake at this moment to even do that in the first place, especially after Orochimaru sealed Kurama away, so the Nine Tails power cannot leak out. Second of all, it's not Naruto choosing to do that, it's his body passively doing that, and that's the way Minato set up the seal to work. Naruto didn't even have knowledge of that. So no, I don't think Mind Transfer Jutsu is going to do that.
It was going to bring up the passive.
It's Uzumaki's chakra that also helps hold him down even stronger.
Let's remember.
That's the reason why the Nine Tail doesn't leak out, even though it's the strongest of all the tail beasts like the other ones have in the past. Because not only is it the seal, but the Uzumaki chakra naturally suppresses all tail beasts, which is why they got expired quickly by a lot of other villages because they were like, nah, we can't have you out here controlling tail beasts this easily.
Let's remember, Zabuza, when he first showed up, was gonna behead Naruto. When he very first showed up, when he at the very beginning, he first showed up. He throws a sword, lands on the sword. That sword was gonna behead Naruto. It wasn't Sasuke who saved Naruto, it was Sakura. Naruto would have been beheaded. Right there, that's telling you. Sakura is arguably the strongest of all those three. And the Land of Waves further backs that up. In terms of being a ninja. Yes, it does. Because the Land of Waves continues to back it up. So the tree climbing...
Land of Waves does not contend to back it up. They have different strengths as a team, which is why they were put together. As an overall ninja, we aren't going to pretend that combat-wise, she is as capable in combat directly as Sasuke and Naruto.
Absolutely.
She is intelligent.
She doesn't have the rivalry, which is why Naruto and Sasuke push ahead, because they want to compete with each other. Sakura's the straight level person. She's like Tenten in that regard. The other two, Neji and Lee, they have this like, I don't know what the dynamic would be called, not good cop, bad cop, but they have like this ridiculous dynamic back and forth, whereas Tenten is like meant to be the normal person, the audience member, to call out how ridiculous it is. That's the comedy there. That's what Sakura's like, behavior, personality-wise, in universe. So that's why she's not really doing anything. But that doesn't mean I'm not even going to say potential isn't there, but that's why she's not doing anything, even though she could, and she would be just as good as the other two. Because, again, Land of Waves, the tree climbing training, that's not just random training. Kakashi's requiring them to do that for them to be capable enough to guard Tazuna. Naruto and Sasuke are not allowed to guard Tazuna until they prove that they're capable enough to do it, now that they know that Zabuza and Haku are on their tail because it's an A-rank mission and blah, blah, blah. So that tells you, for whatever reason, Kakashi's equating the capability of being able to do this to that. And so that's saying overall, you need to be this level. It's not just rock, paper, scissors, because yes, they each have strengths and weaknesses that they're eclipsing each other at. But that's to say overall, when you factor in all the strengths and all the weaknesses and then average them out, where would you rank them as shinobi, who are on average capable of like battle power? And I would say Sakura is near Sasuke, above Naruto.
Yeah, and on the scale of that, I would put Sasuke at a 9, Naruto at a 7, and Sakura at a 6.
Crazy.
Sakura has control. We've already established that Sakura has amazing chakra control, which is why she can break out of genjutsus. Out of that as her feat, and in the Land of Waves, where you could easily get knocked in the water instead of swimming, you can walk on water. It would be important to learn this skill because you're dealing with other ninja now. It's not just random thugs. Other ninja.
Because first of all, that doesn't happen.
No.
Because that's not because that's completely headcanon. Kakashi's not saying anything of the sort. Kakashi's saying high-ranked ninjas are here, Zabuza and Haku. In order to guard Tazuna, you need to be this capable. Climb the tree to be that capable. Otherwise, you're not allowed to guard Tazuna. He's not saying because we're on a bridge, which is over top water, because Zabuza does try and attack Tazuna, and he's not pushing Sakura in the water. It's not in anyone's character to even conceive of that as a battle strategy in the first place. Zabuza would just try and bisect her with his sword. It's not even a conceivable thought. Nowhere is Kakashi worried about that.
To extrapolate on this thought, so since it seems to be ridiculous, I'll connect the logic of it.
Okay.
Chakra control allows you to have the ability to control and manipulate your chakra at will. One of the most common things ninja do, as we see after this, is done all of the time, is use chakra on the soles of their feet to be able to attach themselves and push themselves on surfaces. Vertical, horizontal, what have you, all the time. We immediately see it when they get back to the village. We see all the tunings do it to show that they can all do it. We see Sasuke do it to impress the Saiyan Ninja, and then we see Gaara do it to him to be like, I'm better than you at this. We see this all the time. Now, knowing that they're dealing with ninja from the Mist Village, and Kakashi having the knowledge in his bingo book of who Zabuza, one of the 7 mist swordsmen of the Mistar, one of their best ninja by default, and understanding that if this kid who also took down Zabuza and got him up out of there was skilled enough to do what he did and trick him in the moment, they're going to be a problem. He probably can't deal with both of them equally without it being an issue. And understanding that his guys who aren't ready for a mission of this level aren't trained in some of the basics, which is his responsibility. Just to point that out, Kakashi, not a great trainer, is his job to make sure they can do that. Understanding they have some time probably to do that, he teaches them the very basics. Sakura masters it immediately because she has amazing chakra control, which is then never talked about in the series ever again until Shippuden.
That's first of all, that's not true. That's not true. Okay, I'm glad you're bringing this up because it's not just tree climbing, because obviously there's no trees on the bridge to climb in the first place. That training doesn't matter for that, so why would it matter? Chakra control does a lot more than just climbing trees. So I don't know what all it does, but one thing I know it definitely does do, because they do note this before Shippuden, they note this in the Ino versus Sakura fight, actually funny enough, that Sakura is using her chakra control on her feet against the flat ground to increase her speed. And we see Sasuke do that same thing when Sasuke charges at Haku, who's going at the unconscious Naruto as like the final thing that Sasuke does, to like get in front of Haku's way. He's using his chakra control to amplify his speed at that moment. That's clearly something you can do. Sakura, being the first person to master that, at that time, I would argue, is the fastest among the 3. Because I think that physically, Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura are physically relatively even in the bell test. Physically. Like if you have them do, I don't know, weight training, they're probably lifting a relative amount of weight. If you have them do sprints, they're probably running the same amount of speed. It would come down to capabilities of why Sasuke is so much more skilled than Naruto, which is why he's at the top of class. And then Sakura's very intelligent and skilled, which is why she's near the top of the class. And that's why they're eclipsing Naruto by so much as a ninja, even though they're all physically relative. That's not to say that Sakura doesn't have good chakra control at the beginning of the series, but she doesn't realize that she does. And so even if she's already has it mastered, she's not using it in combat, which is why it wouldn't necessarily matter in the bell test, because she has it, she's just not using it because she doesn't realize it. But that's to say, as soon as they start the tree climbing and Sakura becomes aware of this, I think Sakura is the fastest among the 3, and I think that's why she's capable of guarding Tazuna, whereas Naruto and Sasuke aren't. The only reason they were able to contend is because their cool rivalry trick thing that they were able to do at the very peak heightened extent of their desperation that they're reaching for, where Sakura's just able to do this normally. Thoughts?
I will agree, as I said before, that having chakra control is something that they use constantly as a regular thing, which is why it was important to teach them. It's something that Haku and Zabuza would do automatically. Same thing that he does in battle, but he realized that his tuning, or his getting at that point, didn't know it. So he began to teach them that. Sakura, with her control, can do that, which gives her the advantage at that moment. Literally, after a couple of days, they both catch up to her level, and I already consider them to be physically above her. So the little
I don't know if I would even say that.
Having that,
just because they climb to the top of the tree doesn't mean they're at Sakura's level. They need to still do the running up momentum thing. In fact, Naruto's making a note of it. Sakura's just connecting to the tree and walking up it effortlessly. Naruto and Sasuke don't do that even when they get to the top of the tree, which was their goal, which is why they don't keep practicing that.
Yes, which is why that even with her chakra control, it barely brings her to their level that they were already at. Because combat-wise, overall, we don't see Sakura do anything of note other than the one time that Zabuza attacked and she was able to step in.
That's because she's staying back. She's not trying to do anything. Because what are you basing Sakura being weaker than Naruto and Sasuke at the beginning of the series on?
From what we've seen from all the times that they had combat training, which they showed flashbacks to when they actually were on the road and doing missions and their capabilities of the missions, such as probably the funniest one would be the cat, which ended up being caught by Naruto, which was the most evasive cat that they could deal with.
But that was like a D rank mission that Naruto got so scratched up on. Naruto clearly was the hyperactive knuckleheaded #1 ninja who was like very bad at his mission. Which is like sort of the point to like set up an expectation that Naruto's bad at even the worst missions. And then now Naruto's going to have to overcome the strongest level mission. How is Naruto, who can't even do the basic mission, right? How is he ever going to do this high ranked mission? Which I think is brilliant writing.
Which he was still the one that was able to capture the cat that was evading all of them.
Okay,
Sakura
but
with
again,
her tactics couldn't. And
you
again,
can...
but it is still a feat that he did. So are we going to take
okay. Naruto's cat level. I don't think that really matters with the supersonic hyperhumans here. But again, from the very beginning of that cat rank mission, or the cat mission, it's being set up from the very first thing we learn that Naruto's the one falling behind still. Sakura's in position. Sasuke's in position. They're responding in time when Kakashi talks over the walkie-talkie. Shout out WalkyTalky podcast. But and then they're like, Naruto, where are you? Naruto, you're late. So from the very get-go, Naruto isn't as capable as the other two who are responding. They are concise. They're clear. They're doing their job, their role correctly on the mission. Naruto's not doing that from the very beginning. That's the very first thing we see.
Which actually would add even more to my point that him not being in the right position to
Oh
begin with.
my gosh. It's because the others were. That's the teamwork that Naruto needed to learn.
Before you cut me off about
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you. Not being in the right position while they flush it out means he's still able to physically use his physical attributes to read and react and catch up and still make the correct move to be able to capture the cat that they were struggling to even corner to begin with, which took them planning as a team as practice to be able to do. So his overcoming feat that he has, his strength, is his physical capability, which even in the beginning, when he paints the face of the Hokage and they chase him down, he's able to run and escape even with, let's say they're getting ninja that's chasing him. He can still put them on a chase to outrun them, get around them, which they do on a regular basis, apparently, as it's a common thing. His one shining feat that he has is his physical capabilities. He can't out-jutsu people. He can't out-think his way out of a box. But his physical capabilities, as is also shown when he does the duel with Sasuke, when they're just practicing, while Sasuke is clearly better than him, it's not as if Naruto wasn't pressing him at times. Naruto just isn't as well trained as him at that point. He's an untrained ninja fighting against Sasuke, who literally was training every day as an Uchiha and as Itachi's little brother, and was doing a decent job, but not as strong. It was, again, a 9 versus a 6. It's cute, but in the end, we know who's going to win. It's a Rock Lee versus Neji. You're good, but you're not as good as this one guy, but you're better than just about everybody else. Sakura, again, as her one combat feat of showing direct combat skill in a one-on-one, struggles with Ino, who is the physically weakest member of her team, by far.
What do you mean by far? Where are you getting by far from?
And the four stuff, and by far, she's nowhere near as strong as Choji, who's physically the strongest on their team. And when it comes to actual combat, their team leader, for lack of a better word, is Shikamaru. He makes the plans. He's the only one that routinely wins his 1v1s in his fights by outthinking the opponent. And that's from all the way in Naruto through Shippuden and beyond. Even in the Boruto, he outthinks the situation. He outthinks a genjutsu that tricks people into believing something. His mind just fights against it and he figures it out and it resets regularly.
So I'm confused how that's getting...
He's shown to be one of the smartest people of all time and naturally thinks his way out of combat and tactically wins battles.
I'm confused at how that's getting Ino far weaker than the other two, because that's just ignoring what Ino brings to the table, which is just as much as the other two. She's just as relative as the other two. It's just the strengths and weaknesses, but overall, it's like rock, paper, scissors, but each of them have their own role.
Yes, which, again, I'm not saying that she's a worse ninja. I'm saying in the skill of combat, in one of their attributes, she is the weakest member of her team. That's not saying overall she's not an equal ninja to the other two, because I think Ino's skills overall are the most busted, especially in Boruto. She's ridiculous. Yeah. But that's not saying that she's a weaker ninja. So being worse at combat doesn't mean that you are a worse player. It's like if we took the sport of basketball, a point guard that can pass and shoot isn't somehow worse than someone who can block shots and play defense. They're different skill sets. Her skill set isn't engaged for her to do direct combat. That's not her bag.
She's probably got the best reaction time. But ignoring that, I don't think Naruto running away from I think they're actually Chunin, not Genin, but I mean, it's episode 1. What really matters there, so we obviously, we can't scale episode 1 base Naruto to Chunin level, because that doesn't make any sense at all. Because he would cross compare to the other Genin. How does he compare to Sasuke?
Special Chunin.
Or Sasuke, or Sakura, or any of the other Genin. So that's what matters, because at that point, Sakura can do the exact same thing as Naruto can in episode 1. She can run away from those same Chunin just as easily. So what I would look at isn't that for sure. And for the cat thing, I'm not gonna upscale Naruto because he's not in position, so he has to overcome that. The reason he got hurt in the first place is because he wasn't in position. In fact, the mission was almost blown because he wasn't in position, because the others were using teamwork, which they learned from the bell test, whereas Naruto wasn't. That's not to say the lesson didn't hit home for him, but that he wasn't actively applying it to his everyday, daily life because he doesn't care about these missions because he wants a high rank mission in the first place. That's not to say he doesn't care about teamwork, but at this moment, he wasn't using teamwork, whereas the others were, and that bit Naruto in the butt. That cost him. The only reason that cat was caught is not because Naruto's the end conclusion, it's because of the teamwork of everyone else that got the cat to Naruto. Naruto never would have caught that cat otherwise. So, yeah.
I won't say that. I'll say the teamwork made it possible, but he was still the one that was expected to actually close the deal.
And he did, but because Naruto didn't listen and because he was being bad, he fell off a waterfall or whatever, which was not part of the plan.
That's true. Which physically he was still able to, out of position, do the actual thing that they wanted to do in the first place. Which, had he been in position, it should have went off without a hitch, and it should have been perfect for him. But even being in the wrong place, he was able to still catch up and accomplish the exact thing that they wanted to do.
So at the beginning of the series, physical stats matter the least, and what matters for strength of a ninja would come down to their skill, which applies to an umbrella of different areas with actual just skill, with like shuriken training or intelligence or reaction speed or whatever. But generally, their punching strength doesn't really matter yet. Their speed, they're all fairly relative to one another. It comes down to other areas, and Naruto, he has a lot of endurance and stamina, but he's not very smart. He's not really faster than the others. He's not really stronger than the others. So he can take a beating, but that doesn't really matter if he can't really give one as easily as other people.
Okay. So from what we've seen from the show, you feel that the show is shown that Sakura is comparably physically to Naruto and Sasuke, that there is virtually no difference between them.
At the beginning, they're all relative.
Them with her chakra control. They're all relative. You're saying they're all at no more than 1 point away from each other if we were using a scale
physically,
of 1 through 10.
Because like if they were if they were to like lift weights, or if they were to do like sprinting to like see how fast they are, I think they're all physically relative.
Okay. You know what? In the spirit of continuing on, it's something we could save for another day. Because we fundamentally disagree on that through everything, through the arc of waves and through the tuning exam. You believe that they start at a relative equal point, and I feel that they are not at an equal point when they start.
Well, I'll add real quick. Is that going into the beginning of the tuning exams, coming out of the land of waves, Sakura
I would say going in, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say that they state that, like through dialogue, they state that Sakura is still stronger than Naruto. Sakura is still better of a shinobi than Naruto at that point in time.
Yeah, so, but see, I think we're still conflating two different things. Well, I'm talking about their physical battle ability versus their overall skill level. Overall skill level, Sakura is a stronger ninja than Naruto because of her intelligence. But that is not her strength in physicality. That is the one thing that Naruto can hang his hat on, which, later on could be attributed maybe to the nine-tailed chakra inside him and all those other things, or
Yeah,
being from two legendary bloodlines, what have you, etc. Who knows? But
So
physicality is the one thing that Naruto does have on his whole side to begin with.
Naruto can be physically stronger, but those physicals still play a role in battle. But what you were saying before, everything else about being a capable ninja, being versatile as a ninja, even intelligence, that still plays a role in battle. Sakura's intelligence, because she's more intelligent than Naruto, she will be able to utilize her skill to physically outperform him, in my opinion. Same for Shikamaru. You can argue, of the Konoha 11, Shikamaru could be physically the weakest of the Konoha 11, but he fights using his intelligence as his strength, and that does overcome physically stronger people.
That's true. And for Sakura, while she could be intelligent enough to do it, at no point do they show her doing that, which I think is also a negative that they didn't give her in the early writing, which, as Kishimoto said, he struggles to write women well. I get it. But
And
between
struggled for
that,
over a decade and had plenty of time to practice, yet did not.
actually, very true. But you know what? At least I can appreciate him being self-aware to be able to understand, like, I don't know the right way to try to draw female characters. I get it. I don't understand how to fully develop them well, and it's hit or miss. Cool, what have you. With that being said, had they shown her doing some of that, and they had Precipice to set some of that up, but it never really accounted or equated to anything. Like they showed her in the tuning exam actually answering the questions, which are designed to be unanswerable. So you're showing her at a high level, which I would even say intelligence-wise, I would compare her, the way I would compare her intelligence to Shikamaru's is tactical, hers is strategic. She has a vast amount of knowledge, which made her a great healer, a medical ninjutsu person, but tactically, they never show her tactically using that intelligence to gain an advantage in battle.
So I don't think we need to see necessarily Sakura to fight or win in order to get a gauge or measurement on where the character is pretty much definitively supposed to scale. Obviously, for entertainment-wise, I would agree that it would be nice if we did see it. Like, I would prefer if Sakura did stuff, but I can understand why she didn't as the straight shooter in the dynamic role of these three characters, to where two of them are the rivals. Maybe they could have played with the love triangle more to have Sakura be more of a character in that regard. But I'm okay with the space. I know. But I'm okay with Naruto and Sasuke being the focus, since they have that rivalry. For me personally. But I would say, since I would equate Sakura being a better shinobi, especially early on. The earlier on, the more important it is. A better shinobi would equate to more effective in combat.
Well, I would say I'm not equating that the only effectiveness a shinobi can have is based on their physical prowess. Their intelligence and all that plays a big part of it also, which is why I'm not saying that Sakura is weak overall as a ninja. I'm simply saying that physical direct combat isn't her strength until later on in Shippuden, which is a whole entire point of her training, to learn to be physically capable in combat.
Physically, yes. The stopping power behind her punches, yes. But she still has stopping power before then. She's just not utilizing it as much. Again, her traps are supreme. Probably the best trapper in the entire series. She has paper bombs, she has kunai, she has shurikens. All of those are capable of killing with one swing. So she still has one-hit kill moves. You just never
I would say
really,
in that same breath, you can say that every ninja has one-hit kill moves, if we're just counting that as a base level.
Yes.
Anybody with ninja tools, which is all ninja, had that ability, so that doesn't give her more of an ability than anybody else.
It does, because it comes down to your ability to utilize these weapons. Tenten is a weapon expert. Naruto is going to be less effective at utilizing shuriken, kunai, paper bombs, smoke bombs than Sakura is. Her ability, her awareness, her acuity of the environment around her, the ninja tactic, the move behind the move. Sakura will be able to set that up a lot more effectively and efficiently than Naruto can using that same equipment. It's not what you have, it's what you're able to do with what you have.
And what I would say is this: while she shows desperation trying to defend Sasuke in the tuning exams and the tuning fights with Ino, she completely doesn't show any of that.
We could just agree to disagree. Okay, just because she doesn't do it that
Wait,
one
she
time.
outthought Ino?
Okay,
Well,
to be fair, no, okay,
those are
but
the two
okay,
times that she's highlighted, right?
that's
And so
ignoring
in
the
this
context of the fight. They're purposefully not doing that, though. Ino literally slaps, not punches, but slaps Sakura because of their bond, their rivalry. They're trying to defeat each other through their fists because that's the most respectable way. Because they're fighting over Sasuke, but like this is okay. Call me crazy, because you're gonna call me crazy, but this is the best fight in the prelims. Sakura versus Ino. It's the best fight. Narratively, it's the best fight. Best production value, it's the best fight.
You know what? You're right. I am going to call you crazy.
There it is.
That's a wild. That is definitely a one when we got Neji and Hinata sitting right there.
I agree.
Sakura
That's top three, along with Gaara and Lee, top three. Production value wise, they're focusing on this one being the best fight. And it is. Doesn't have the best animation, but it has the best production value, and it has the best story. And arguably the best music.
I disagree with that one.
Okay.
I was going to say music I can give you because music goes around, but if we're trying to say that that's the best fight out of the tuning exams, even top three, that's a wild swing for the fences right there.